Hello, 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 and welcome to day 2 at Full Circle Season 2. I'm Pallavi Dhodi.
I'm George Koudounaris. I'm a little bit more caffeinated than yesterday, 1:30 a.m. again here, but very, very excited for another day of brand building in the age of AI slop together. We're absolutely delighted to have all of you with us here today for the second act of Season 2 of Full Circle. We designed this conference especially for small and one-person marketing teams that want the right sized advice to really punch above your weight.
And yesterday, we had over 200 of you tune into the sessions. It's awesome to see so many of you back for day 2. And hello to everyone tuning in for the first time today. While we give everybody a couple of minutes to settle in, to join us, quick pulse check. Drop a fire emoji in the chat if you were here yesterday, and a heart emoji if today is your first day at Full Circle. Go for it, people.
Well,
Go. You can
that's a
say
fire
it.
emoji for me. One for Molly. Pallavi, I think you might have been here yesterday. Lindsay,
I've got my glass.
amazing.
Hello, Lindsay. Welcome to Full Circle. And we've got Callahan, who's joining us from yesterday. Yes. Alex, also from yesterday. Awesome. Come on, people. Give us the hearts or give us the emojis. I see way more of you in the room than there are emojis in the chat. Let's go.
That's the old teacher in you, Pallavi. You're going to have to set up a naughty corner next time.
Possibly.
Awesome. All right. Look, we can see there's people returning. Amazing. A couple of fresh faces too, it looks like. So for the benefit of those who weren't here yesterday, again, I'm George. I'm one half of the B2B playbook, and we built a learning resource for B2B marketers where we document and share our framework, the 5Bs framework for B2B marketing. And we get to chat with some brilliant B2B marketing minds every single month.
And I'm Pallavi. I'm the founder of Draft, where I help B2B SaaS companies create unmissable content and tell memorable product stories. Links to learn more about all of us are in the chat. And on that note, let's get this show started. And I am going to walk all of you through what we have in store for you on day 2 at Full Circle. Give me one quick second while I bring that up. All right. So yesterday, while we were making a case for brand and talking about creating content that actually stands out, today is going to be all about operationalizing all of that, right? And that's why we're opening today with track 3, which is what we call the brand OS, because brand isn't a deck. It's not a homepage. It's not make the logo bigger. It's definitely not a vibe. It's a system. And we've got 2 incredible marketers in track 3 who will show you exactly how to build that system. We've got Molly Bruckman talking to us about building AI systems that amplify human imagination. And we've got Ari Ablok, who's going to be talking to us about using brand to open doors that performance marketing or traditional marketing simply cannot. And then after track 3, we go into distribution with soul, where we're going to be talking about how you can actually amplify and make your brand show up more consistently, more smartly in places you want it to. And we've got Adam Holmgren, who's going to be talking to us about building a founder-led brand. And we've got Akshaya Chandramoli, who will be sharing her experiences of using influencer marketing as a growth lever. Now, I know you might be in the middle of your workday. You might have a bunch of other things that you're doing on the side. So just remember, you can keep this tab open all day, and you can come and tune in whenever you want, whenever you can. You'll automatically be moved from one session to the next, right? So you don't have to go hunting for Zoom links anymore.
And just a couple of quick housekeeping rules. Please use the chat as much as possible if you can. This is your event. Ask the speakers any and all questions. talk to us, talk to each other, drop the questions in as they come to mind, and we'll make sure they get addressed when we get the opportunity for a live Q&A at the end as well. And some of the speakers will also even, they might be able to answer them as they're going too. And then for a lot of the sessions today, you'll find additional resources that have been curated for you. You can access them in the tab in your event panel to the right. It's the tab that looks like a couple of documents that are pinned together. Of course, as Pallavi said, all sessions are recorded. We'll be sending those recordings over to you by Thursday. And during the conference days, you'll also be able to watch the replays of past sessions directly in the event reception too.
Okay. All right. And before we jump into our first session, we've got to show you something that might actually hit a little close to home, because in the AI slop era, targeting's become so chaotic that all of us marketers are out there doing whatever the hell it takes, right? Including some of what we're just about to show you. George, roll tape, please.
Tape is rolling.
Okay, focus. You are the strategy. Persistent targeting. Persistent targeting.
There goes my ribs.
Oh, hey. Oh, hi. Sorry. 1 second.
What is this?
She's a beauty, isn't she?
Were you in there the whole flight?
And the connecting flight. Totally worth it.
Do you work in marketing?
Sure do, buddy. And you, sir, are squarely in my ICP.
This is the best way to guarantee your exact buyers end up in your ad audience.
Right.
The next best way is Vector.
So you want to buy our products?
Get out.
Vector builds ad audiences from people who visit your site, click your ads, and research your competitors. No wasted spend, no guesswork, and no hiding in their luggage.
Can I at least use the bathroom?
No. I'm calling the cops.
Hey.
Another awesome, fun video from Vector. And if you've ever felt just 1% as unhinged as what you just saw, that's exactly why we're so excited to have Vector as our sponsor this year to really help us with that collective sanity. And because if instead of stalking prospects across the internet or just showing up in their duffel bags, Vector actually lets you build audiences from real people doing real things that signal real intent. There is a link in the chat if you want to check them out, which you should, unless you enjoy really broad targeting or sending your ads to retired dentists in Alaska or whatever it is that those distribution platforms are trying to get you to do. We love Vector. We use it personally. Make sure you check it out. I'm going to throw it in the chat.
Okay. And without further ado, we'd now like to kickstart our first session and introduce you to our first speaker, who's now here, Molly Bruckman, former head of growth, brand, and CX at Mutiny. Molly, welcome to Full Circle.
Thank you so much for having me.
Folks, Molly is here to talk about one of the biggest shifts happening in marketing right now, something we feel every day at work, even sometimes outside work. AI can write, design, optimize, but it cannot imagine things for you. So this session is part inspiration, part architecture, about how to build AI systems that extend your brand's creative and strategic capacity. Molly, on that note, over to you. Take it away.
Awesome. I will get my screen share going. All right, how's that look?
Looking good. Perfect.
Great. All right. Start with a little movie. Now, I'm willing to bet that you felt something when you saw this. Put it in the chat. What emotions did you feel when you saw this video? I'm guessing maybe some nostalgia, some emotional connection, some heart eyes emoji. Yes, like you're a child, safety, joy. Yes, I do think nostalgia is an emotion. Coziness, yes. Oh my gosh. What a great way just to start the day is just watch that. It kind of makes me want to just cuddle up and like watch Moana or something. We're not going to do that today. But I wanted to bring this in because I think Disney and that moment is kind of the gold standard of brand. It's not the logo, but it's because they create real worlds that you want to step into. And they do this so well. If we just watch that on mute, we would probably hear the music. And if you heard the music and you had your eyes closed, you'd probably see the castle and you'd see the animation behind it too. And I am willing to bet you might want to go to Disneyland right now. I actually posted about this talk on LinkedIn and somebody was like, I want to go to Disneyland. And I'm like, yes, this is the brand. This is what I'm talking about. Like they are the standard. And all of this is done extremely intentionally, but the magic only works because everything that's not magic is automated or it's invisible. They have massive operation systems running backstage, the logistics, the timing, the routing, the safety, the effects, all of that allows them to really let their creatives focus on the world building and the characters and the emotional arc. If they got rid of the systems, the magic doesn't work. And if they get rid of the magic, the systems don't matter. So it's really kind of hand in hand, making sure that you have those systems that let you create behind them. And this is so important, probably more important than ever now that we have all of this amazing technology to give us all Disney level magic, if you want to call systems magic, which I do. I think systems are magic and imagination is magic. We have magic on both sides of the equation, but two magics is better than one. And we have the same job as marketers. We have to automate everything that gets in the way of imagination so that we can scale creativity. And this is just, to me, the most amazing time to be building because finally we have access to the most powerful tools that we've ever had. We have agents that can write, can research, can QA. We have like structured brand and competitive intelligence that we can just deploy at the drop of a hat. We have orchestration across creative, demand, CX. We have infinite iteration with basically no cost, which is just incredible. Like the power that we have right now is incredible. But, and this is a line from Disney, with great power comes great responsibility. And it's our responsibility not to let that automation flatten what makes us human and what makes us emotional and what makes us differentiated. Our responsibility is to use that power to amplify our imagination, to unlock us, to give us the ability to go build all of the things that we always wanted to build, but we had to beg it for engineering resources or get agency budget or different things to allow us to actually execute on our crazy ideas. We can now do all of it ourselves, which is just absolutely incredible. And it's our opportunity right now to use AI to clear the runway, to let us build those worlds, to let us build emotional resonance with our customers and our audience, to be original and to create castle level brand moments for ourselves. But before I jump in, let me introduce myself. I'm Molly. I am a leader across brand growth and CX. I am formerly with Mutiny was my last role, and now I am fractionally helping companies with this exact problem. So how do you build these AI systems that let you run really fast, and how do you have more fun and be more creative with what you're running? And on the personal side, I love to travel. I have lived all over the place. I lived in Europe. I lived East Coast, West Coast in the US. I'm now on the East Coast in Virginia in the mountains in a little winter wonderland out here. So if you're wondering why I'm like glowing, it's the reflection of the snow out the window on my face. And I'm a new mom. I have a 5-month-old daughter who is just such a delight to sort of see and watch grow every day. Now, how do we Imagineer our own brands. I'm going to give you sort of a framework to apply today. Disney isn't sitting there creating assets or campaign briefs or, these docs that turn into programs that, all kind of can feel cookie cutter at the end of the day. They're creating worlds, and your brand needs the same foundation. This is a very intentional activity where there is rules for the world. How do people engage with each other in the world? What is the setting? Who are the players? What are the magical rules? All of that is your brand canon. And step one, build your world and document it. So if you have really great documentation, this is kind of the foundation that you have to let AI scale, but within the context of the world that you want to create. Step two, hire your cast and characters. This is now a world where you can have a hybrid team of both agents and humans, but you need to put them in the right seats and you need to give them the right context for them to be really effective, like you would a team of just humans. Step three, design the attractions. These are your campaigns. These are what brings people into your world and lets them have fun when they're there. And then finally, keep them delighted. And that's your CX arm and your advocacy. This is keeping your customers really happy at the end of the day. Now, what is brand canon? This is, you can customize this to your own needs, but these are some of the kind of core components I think about. This is your world map, your tone, your worldview, who your customers are, what they say about you, how they feel, what benefits they get from you. What stories do you have to talk about that are referenceable or even not referenceable, but you can speak about them in different ways? Like, what do your customers see success with? And then how does your product work? Like, what is the sort of like technical breakdown of how it works? What are your guidelines for how people use it, your product marketing materials? And then the last one is lore. This is maybe not for everyone, but for example, at Mutiny, we had this mascot, raccoon mascot logo named Achu, and he had an eye patch. And so I had a whole lore document of kind of like a show Bible, if you know, in the like showbiz industry, about how did he lose his eye and who is this guy? Why is he a pirate? Why is he a raccoon? And I had some backstory on like he is definitely probably did a stint in the mafia. He like weirdly has a lot of money, but he's scrappy. So documenting your lore so that you can stay consistent within those things that you're operating to is also going to be really important. Next, you're going to take all of that canon and you're going to put it into a knowledge repository. Fancy way to say, can we bring it to as a speaker next year? Maybe. One of the things I was always trying to do was like have some live raccoon show up at our event, but people were concerned about rabies or something. I don't know. Never was able to make that one happen, but still working on that one. So put your canon into a knowledge repository. Sounds a little scary, and I know you're probably thinking like, oh my gosh, I have so many brand docs, voice docs, all this context, my whole help center, all of these things. It actually like builds up a lot faster than you would think if you start to build in this way. And you don't have to have the perfect system to start. You can sort of add to it as you need it over time. Personally, what I use for this is GitLab, and I use a text editor called, oh my gosh. Now I'm like blanking. What is the WS? It's WebStorm is the text editor I use, and that basically just lets me pull up all of the docs from GitLab and push to GitLab. And then I use Claude Code on the other side, and that lets me actually operate Claude from within my knowledge repository, which means everything, all of my AI prompts, everything I'm generating, all of my campaign plans, all of that is going to be within the context of the world that I've created for it. So this will allow you to have extremely high context and high output that's consistent with your brand standards. It is a massive scale enabler versus I'd say the alternative before I had a setup like this was I would either be constantly kind of repeating the same sets of context into different ChatGPT chats, or I'd build custom GPTs, but they kind of lived in their own sort of, you know, a GPT for this and that and this and that. It was obviously much, much better than the old world of like manually creating everything. But this is a huge sort of next level enabler on top of that, where it's almost like your own mini LLM that you're able to operate within, and Claude has all of the context that you build on top of that. Now, I know this is a little technical probably for some marketers, like GitLab and a text editor and operating from the command line. This is all getting easier and easier and easier by the day. And I think all of these similar workflows are going to be built into all of the productivity tools that you use. I know Notion has something like this. And then Gemini, I think, maybe just came out with a way to operate within your Google Docs setup. Slack just integrated Claude Code. So all of this stuff is just getting more and more integrated and easier to execute. But I want to show you what that looks like. I will in just a second. But what's really exciting now is you get to be the director and you get to build your cast. So I don't know, is anybody here using AI agents yet? Or do you want to start using AI agents? Put it in the chat. Let me know where you're at. I have found a huge time saver and like massive extension to team. I know a lot of people here are one-person marketing teams or really small marketing teams. This is how you get a lot more scale and power with what you're doing. It doesn't mean you should have agents for everything, but definitely like this is a way to expand your output. So think about them as your cast members. If we're going back to the Disney World, they should have specific roles, specific rules for how they operate, specialties, and even personalities. Like actually I have one AI agent who at some point I said is into gardening, and whenever she doesn't know something, she starts talking about planting seeds and building your garden, which does, I mean, it makes you laugh a little bit too. But yeah, if you cast them really well, you can really amplify your output in a really good way, but you have to actually be really, really intentional about who they are, what their jobs are, and what they do. So you can see here, maybe on your team, you might have this smattering of cast members, performance marketers, content writers, web directors. Notice I don't have a marketing agent. Like I don't have one generalist that's supposed to do everything. I really want to get specific about what the jobs are for each of them. And this is, I'm going to go into my knowledge repository as well, but who are these AI agents and what are they supposed to do? So give each one a job description, a purpose, give them onboarding instructions, like actually write out like you would hire a real person. What are their responsibilities? What should they be good at? And then give them the right set of onboarding materials as well, like you would somebody you're bringing onto your team. So what books should they read? What information should they have? Who should they follow? What frameworks matter to them? This gives you much, much, much higher output in your AI agent versus just being like, you are a digital marketing expert. And this lets you turn your AI stack into a functional team by operating this way. The other thing that I would add into the context for your agent is how should they engage with other agents on your team or other humans on your team? And that will show them how you want them to engage as a team themselves. And to show you what this looks like, now this is the maybe scary part for marketers. But again, like all of this will get more and more user-friendly. This is the setup I have. And so this is WebStorm, where you can see on the left, this is kind of my GitLab repository where I can list out the different docs that I have. And it's really as easy as like copy pasting into Claude and saying like, add this to my repository, and it'll create a folder and it'll organize it all for you. And if things ever get unruly, you can just tell it to go organize. You know, actually one AI agent I recommend is like a knowledge architect who can go and clean all of that stuff up for you, rename them. That'll also be a really great operational savings for you. But yeah, I have, you know, everything we talked about here, cast, customers, lore, point of view, all of that can be documented here. And then you can see my my agent stocks here too, where I have all of these sort of broken out. And what one of those might look like is what are the core responsibilities for this this role as well. And down here is my terminal where I can actually like just command line execute my cloud command. So it'll go right into that repository, use all of the context that I have first. And then if I want it to go do external research or other things, it also has those capabilities as well. I love Claude Code just because it is so powerful. Like I can build so much more in terms of like actual web experiences or, you know, connected to different systems that I have. So it really helps me move really, really quickly. And the really cool thing is you can also integrate it into your workflow systems and you can engage with these agents like their team members. So for example, like we have it implemented into Slack where I can say, hey, I have this new idea for a campaign. I can put something in there and then my agents can go to work actually creating the implementation plan and then sharing a draft with me for review. But like I said before, never been a more fun time to be a marketer because you can finally take all the grunt work off your plate. At least for me, I do not have fun with like documentation and organizing things and building plans for things and prioritizing and, you know, organizing things. I just want to move really fast, have crazy ideas and like fire them off and like ship them and have fun building them. So finally, you can clear your blockers, you can clear your bottlenecks, and you can free yourself to imagine and invent and create. And that's where the magic happens. So I am so excited for that. This, you know, let AI scale your ideas and do the work while you invent them. And that's a really important distinction. Like you shouldn't go to AI to say like, come up with creative idea. You're not going to get it. That needs to come from you. And that's the fun part about being a marketer. So the question is, how do you come up with creative ideas? So I'm going to shift now. I talked about the systems and the AI side and what to do there. Now I want to talk about the creative side and what you can do as a marketer. Obviously, there's like a big role for creative brainstorms and, you know, sitting in a room with your team and having sticky notes and coming up with wild ideas. Definitely recommend doing that. And I'll talk about how you can bring AI agents into that process as well. But not all your ideas are going to come from the boardroom or from those brainstorming sessions. So I do want to talk about how you create great ideas, because now that it's easier than ever to create campaigns and create content, the bar for what's going to break through is much, much, much higher than ever. So I'm going to share just a few techniques I use to unlock creativity, morning pages, verb-noun associations, and collecting sparks. And I'll talk about each of them. The first is morning pages. This is something I lifted from The Artist's Way, which is a fantastic book. It's like, I think it's for a lot of writers and actors and people that like face more creative blocks in their roles. But I found it really just helpful in my own work. And generally, I just love to get inspiration from non-traditional. I do love to read a good business book or two, but I like to get inspiration from different disciplines and different areas than where I normally operate in. So how this works is you write 3 pages every day by hand on paper with a pen, like analog, completely analog, not digital. It is harder than you think, but it is so, so powerful. It really unlocks a lot of blockers and mental cobwebs, and it's a great way to start your day. So what I do, I get my coffee and I sit down and write, and it is a good chance to just sort of get the juices flowing for the day, get out anything that might have come to you overnight. Like I do a lot of, and I think everybody does a lot of kind of diffuse thinking overnight. So yeah, like get those ideas down. You can write about your dreams, write about your goals for the day. It is crazy how hard it is. I do all of my typing digitally. Like at first it was like, where is paper? Where is a pen? But I was able to find them and start writing, and my hand hurt so bad. I like realized that like I just miss letters as I'm writing by hand. So it's crazy how much that sort of disappears. I think I'm still here. I saw a notification, but I think it's okay. Yeah, it's where great ideas come from. After a while of doing this activity, it will get easy to write the first page and even the second page. The third page is always hard, but that is where the great ideas come from. And this is going to give you ideas for content to post on LinkedIn. I know a lot of people want to do more on LinkedIn, but they're like, what do I write about? This will give you a lot of ideas for that. It'll give you ideas for new programs to build. It might help you resolve a conflict with a team member. Like, it'll give you a lot of insights about what's happening front of mind, back of mind, and subconsciously for you. So definitely recommend starting your day with this. I'm curious, does anyone do anything like this today? Let me know in the chat. The second creative unblock, this one's fun. This is verb noun association, and I took this from How to Write One Song by Jeff Tweedy. This is what you do is you take a mundane moment or a profession or some sort of topic, and on one column list 10 verbs related to that moment, and on the other column list 10 nouns that you can see. Just look around and see, like shirt, water bottle, curtain, whatever those things are, you can jot those down, 10 and 10, and then force connections between the two. And try to stretch yourself for things that you might not think connect. But force those connections with one another and then use those to try to create a poem. That'll really help you kind of break out of the, especially B2B marketing, right? Like how much same can you do where you're like, oh, let's launch a campaign and we'll run ads and all of these things, but this will help you start to think in a different way. The third is my favorite, and this is just like kind of like a passive, need to buy real paper and real pen first. I know it's like crazy. Actually, I was playing a game with my family and they wanted to keep score and they're like, where do you have paper? And I was like, let me grab a piece of mail I don't need. Do you have a pen? No, I don't. Like, let's use a little spreadsheet. It's harder than you think to find these things. Yes, so collecting sparks. This is something I do all the time in the background. And the best part is you get to go out and do your life, live your life in the background. In the artist way, they have one of their exercises is, they call it artist dates, which is basically this, like go out and go to the park and do people watching, go to a concert, go, watch a movie, whatever those things are that make you, go do those things. And your brain is going to operate in the background. Again, the diffuse thinking, that's going to be running. And this is the part where you just keep it really, really simple to have the easiest possible workflow that you can jot down ideas as you have them, especially the bad ones. At Mutiny, I was branded the creative one, and it put a lot of pressure on me to come up with unique ideas on demand in a lot of cases. Like we'd be in a meeting and people would be like, Molly, what's your big idea? That's not where big ideas come from. You have to just get them when you're out in the world, letting them come to you. That's where you're going to come up with the things that are differentiated, and not when you're just like sitting in a room on demand. So I keep a running notes file on my iPhone of just off the wall ideas. It's literally called Weird Marketing Ideas, and I add to it when I'm on walks, when I'm reading, when I'm driving. I use voice to text. I'm a safe driver. Or people watching. I bring this all the time. And when I catch a spark, I add it to my list. So I have this like crazy list, and sometimes it's just like words that don't make any sense, and I don't know what I was thinking when I go back to it. But it is helpful to just to have this running list to go back to. Does anyone else do something like this, or am I a crazy person? I think also if you wanted to like Slack yourself, you can pull it up that way, and that can get added to some file as well. But of course, there is still the world for team brainstorms. I definitely recommend this as well. But how do you bring your agentic team and your human team into this? Short answer is like you get to have all of the fun, which is great. And you get to put your AI agents to work. So you should always set up the brainstorm yourself, the whiteboard, the frameworks, the prompts, the facilitate the session. You need to set the objectives and what you're trying to do. You should bring your cross-functional team. I love to even bring like an engineer or, a product manager, or somebody just like a little bit more adjacent with a completely different set of context that'll help you see things from different lenses and get different sets of ideas. And then you should definitely do the silly icebreakers. Anyone who's worked with me knows that I am just a nut for like the silly icebreakers, and sometimes they hate it, but you got to have fun with it. You should drink wine probably, or at least at part of the day, maybe not at the beginning of the day, but later in the day, like whatever it takes to let creativity come in and have different sets of ideas come to you, and then have fun and imagine. Like you get to have all of those, the fun part of coming up with great ideas. And your agents can do all of the grunt work. They can organize your ideas, they can poke holes, they can find the risks, they can evaluate your ideas, they can get validation data of, is this a good idea or not for you? They can build your execution plans for you. They can prototype and mock stuff up. They can create the first drafts for content. And that should all be within your brand and your goals for them, because they're operating within the systems that you've built for them. And since I'm speaking to a room of marketers, we got to have a flywheel. But this is kind of how this all works together. So you catch your sparks, you let your agents plan. Humans prune. I don't know, like I think ChatGPT is better about this than Claude, but Claude does so much. Like I give it a prompt and it's like created 10 different documents, and there's like different versions of the same thing. So it takes a lot of work to just like prune it down to the thing that you want. But that's it's better to have more than have to like continually pull out from people. I used to do theater, and this was always something they said was like, it's hard to get somebody who's not giving enough to give more, but it's a lot easier to pull somebody back if they're doing too much. So humans do the pruning. Your hybrid team executes. So you have the parts where AI runs, you have the parts where humans run. And then the human is always the approver and the launcher. So nothing should ever go out that is just AI generated. That should always be a human involved. And then you have your AI agents to document behind you and add everything you create into your brand canon so that this grows over time. Is anyone else running a process like this? Put it in the chat and let me know. And I will wrap up there, but I just want to say, like, every brand deserves to be magical. We're all going to be better marketers. We're going to have more fun in our jobs with it. Our customers are going to have more fun by being part of it. And we'll raise the bar for what it means to be a marketer in this age in general. So my final CTA, since I am a marketer, let me help you build your brand canon. If you want some help, like reach out to me on LinkedIn. I love to connect. But I am helping build brand canon, setting up agentic teams, and running Imagineering workshops. So let me know how I can help you. And I will, from there, pass it off to any questions that people may have.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Molly. Love how you're trying to free up marketers again to get back to imagining and creating, to get that feeling, to enter a world, create worlds just like Disney did. And I think that is the fun part about being a marketer. And I think we all want to try and get further towards that. I suppose a question that I know the audience will have in their mind as well is, where's sort of the best place to get started when it comes to building this agentic team? Is it maybe around a certain campaign? Like, how do you just get started? Because it feels like quite a large undertaking and something that you're going to have to put a lot of time into. So maybe reflecting on even how you decided, okay, I'm going to just start really building this out. Like, what's a good way to get started there?
Yeah, I know. I think all of this stuff seems a lot more daunting than it really is if you are to like actually just dive in and get started. Like, I mean, even if you think about your role as a manager and you've managed teams, like writing your first job description for a role that you wanted to hire probably was also daunting and a lot of work to do. But you know, as you get more seasoned, you know, I can just look to other people in the space I respect. Let me see what they're looking for. And now we have AI too to just like create the job description. So with the automation powers we have, we can stand this up really quickly. I would say where do you start is the thing you don't want to do the most. So like for me, I don't want to do documentation or, you know, organizing systems. And actually it's funny, like George, we got on for our sound check and I was like, I looked in my background and I've got like whiteboards and sticky notes and stuff all over the place. Like I operate in a set of chaos in general. And so to have an AI agent that can come in and sort of like sweep behind me and tidy up, I wish I could have one for my housework. I'm not quite there yet, but yeah, I'd say that for me was a good place to start. Was I want somebody who's going to like come in and create better systems for me that I can operate within. From there, I went to actually like things I know a lot about. So I created a like a digital marketing UX agent so that just because I know a lot of great resources that I would use and like read these books, these are the foundations I want you to have. And so I could set up all of that context. And now, you know, then when I'm building a website, I can say, use our UX agent to apply best practices, and it can go in and sort of like create the better first draft of how everything should be laid out and things like that. So it doesn't have to take as long as you think it might take. You can build these things pretty quickly.
Amazing, amazing. And in terms of the output from the agents, are they sort of getting you 70, 80% of the way there? And then you need the human for that last mile? What does that look like?
I would say that it's getting me like 160% of the way there, which is why I
Wow.
have the note about pruning. Like I feel like it tends to do so much, and then I need to rein it in to be like, this is more simple. One of the most hilarious parts though is that it gives me a timeline of like phase 1, 2 months, phase 2, 2 weeks, whatever, and then it just does them all instantly. So, but it's still giving me these timelines of like what the old world timeline would have looked like. But yeah, I mean, it can do a lot. I think to your point though, like that 20-30% that you should do should be upfront. Like you should be doing the creative ideas and giving it the right set of input to go and operate against. And then challenge them like they're somebody you manage of, but did you think about this? Did you think about that? This isn't quite right. Giving that set of feedback to get to the right idea. And then at the end, lots and lots and lots of pruning to scope it down to the actual thing you want to ship.
Love it. Love it. And so there are non-core marketing roles that you have as part of that agentic team as well. It sounds like that you've assembled. Are there a couple that you recommend that you should really try and build out?
Yes, depends on your context. But for me, I am a vibe coder at best. Like I'm definitely not an engineer, but like I said, I feel like I have superpowers now because I have those things. So I have agents that can like actually build and implement web experiences. That's something that most marketers don't have the like training to do themselves. And then they go to either trying to get engineering resources or paying for agencies to come in and build experiences for you. You can do all of that yourself. And even if it's just prototyping, like that'll still be a huge leg up in terms of like creating really good briefs versus letting somebody else create the briefs. They come to you, you get feedback, you go through all of these revision rounds. You can just build that first prototype yourself to communicate your vision. And then you can bring in whoever it is, an artist, an expert, an engineer to build the more permanent system behind you too. So that's a really good one, is like somebody you can help prototype. UI UX is another great one to just have a good pass at like what is a great user experience. And Storyboarding, I also think is really helpful for like a creative writer or video creation to come up with like what is the overarching, or even like slide deck presentation to come up with like what is that story that you want to communicate with against your big idea.
Very, very cool. Absolutely love it, Molly. Love how you're just embracing everything that's being thrown at us, and also how you're using it, as you said, to bring that magic back, to bring that creativity back. And love how the first half of the presentation was really getting a little bit more technical about building that team to do the grunt work and freeing yourself up, and those great exercises that I feel like I used to do before I just got so busy. And then I've just been so bogged down in execution work that it's gone away. And I would love to get back to doing that kind of stuff, and would love to get back to journaling and storytelling a lot more. So yeah, thank you so much for bringing that to our attention. I really, really love this one.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me, George.
Fantastic. Okay, everyone. Coming up next, don't go anywhere. We're going to be talking to Ari Yablock about using brand to open doors traditional marketing can't. Stay tuned. We're going to get started very shortly. You don't need to go anywhere. Just keep this window open, and he'll come right up right now. Thanks so much, Molly.